Here are the top stories for your weekly briefing. Talk about some market movers. Volatile prices of Canada's marijuana stocks triggered numerous circuit-breaking halts in trading on Wednesday, as the extreme excitement for this sector pushed valuations to record intraday highs. Circuit breaks are tripped when a stock climbs or falls at least 10% in a 5-minute period. Companies like Canopy Growth Corp and Supreme Pharmaceuticals were all halted for 5-minute intervals, some of them multiple times. Watch our previous interview with Supreme CEO John Fowler at the link above. Canopy Growth, Canada's largest marijuana company based in Smith Falls, Ontario, was halted 4 times after reaching a valuation of $2 billion at one point. The company has yet to report a profit and earned $8.5 million in revenue during the most recent quarter. Nonetheless, it was the most actively traded stock on the TSX on Wednesday, with more than 24 million shares changing hands. Considering that nothing actually happened fundamentally to drive this activity, the market volatility further validates a marijuana bubble. Facebook's fake news problem is spinning wildly out of control. After BuzzFeed's report that legitimate news stories were outperformed by top malicious fake news stories on Facebook, CEO Mark Zuckerberg has been very dismissive of the idea that fake news played a big role in the voting decisions of Americans. According to data from a Facebook monitoring tool cited by BuzzFeed, the top 20 fake news stories collectively got more engagements, meaning shares, likes, and comments, than 20 factually accurate news stories shared by mainstream news outlets. Many Canadians should expect to spend more money on mortgage payments, as both RBC and TD Bank have raised mortgage rates in recent weeks. And if you guess that it's only going to get more expensive from here, you're right. If you already have a mortgage that's locked in, you're in the clear until it's up for renewal. However, variable rate mortgage holders, as well as new buyers, will be affected. According to James Laird, co-founder of RateHub.ca and president of mortgage brokerage CanWise Financial, the main factor for the recent rate change is volatility in the global bonds market, which has moved dramatically in the last 10 days, up almost 50% in 2 weeks. The massive sell-off in the bond market has made it much more expensive for banks to get access to cash. Canada's largest oil and gas company, Suncor Energy, released news this week that it expects production to rise by more than 13% next year, and spending to fall by more than $1 billion. Like any other oil producer, spending costs are kept as low as possible to cope with a 60% fall in oil prices since mid-2014. Yet, despite the curb in spending, oil producers are able to pump more oil due to lower oil field service pricing, more efficient drilling practices, and better productivity. In time before the holiday season, we get some good news that food prices in Canada, especially meat, are coming down from recent highs as the industry continues to grapple with falling food prices. 2 major grocery chains, Loblaw and Metro, confirmed that the biggest force behind the shift is the industry cycling through last year's high inflation. Now let's talk about some hot stocks. Shares of TO Networks Corp, the cloud-based and multi-channel bill payment processor, hit a new 52-week high, hitting $2.55. In the past year, TO Networks has traded at a low of just under $1.50 and is now trading 69% above that low. Copper stocks have seen a boost after the election, with the new President-elect Donald Trump voted in. The incoming administration plans to spend between $500 billion to $1 trillion in potential infrastructure spending. Copper has been long trading around the $2.10 per pound mark, but was finally given a slight bump as prices have jumped almost 16% since the beginning of November. Canadian copper stocks have certainly benefited from the recent surge, as almost all of them have seen their entire year-to-date growth occur in the last 2 weeks. Click on the link above to read up on the 4 stocks that we've picked out on our list. That's a wrap for today. Make sure to keep up with us on Twitter, and we'll see you next week. I'm Rachel Lee for Small Cap Power.